Tina Spalding Trance Channel here again for video number 2 in our Ascension series, video series. Let's see what Jesus has to say to us today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. We want to welcome you to this second video in our Ascension video series. You are here because you are meant to be here. These videos have drawn you to them because you are ready for a change. What are you going to change? Well, the main thing that you're going to be changing is your conditioned mind. Your conditioned mind, as we discussed yesterday, is that which you have been taught since you have been in physical form on this earth plane. There are other aspects of the ego mind that we will speak about later, but we want to keep it simple right now and get you to focus on that which you have been taught in your culture, by your families, by advertising and all of these sorts of things. We want to go into it in some detail so that you do not just go, yes, I understand, I've been conditioned. We want you to truly understand how deep that conditioning program is. So when we're looking at parental conditioning, as we spoke yesterday, that is one aspect of your family's conditioning. There is another aspect of your family's conditioning, and that's what we would say is your cultural conditioning as it relates to your family structure. Most of you in the West were raised in what you consider a nuclear family, 2 parents and children living in a separated home. This is not common around the world. This is very much a Western way of being. A lot of other cultures and previously indigenous cultures were together in much larger groups. There was much less neurosis because there were a lot of beings that were helping raise children. So there were aunties and uncles, grandparents, cousins, all closely related, closely living together. As you have become more and more urbanized in the West, you are going from larger family groups down to nuclear family groups, and now often you are in individual arrangements where you are completely alone. This is a very, very unnatural way of being for humans. This is not how you're meant to live, but it has become the new normal. And as you are going through these increasing restrictions, it is becoming even more isolating, even more separated. So if you look at your culture over the last few hundred years, you will see that you went from large families on rural properties where multi-generations were living together, often farming, working together, the grandparents looking after the children, these kinds of things. You are now going further and further and further into separation. This is something that has happened gradually enough that you don't really notice it because you know your life, that's the normal for you. But what's happening over these recent months is that you are being forced into a very, very unnatural situation, and all of you are beginning to really feel it. Now, what you are feeling is the disruption of what you know to be normal. But what we want you to understand here is that even the normal that you have been so recently divorced from was not natural. It was not a natural way of being. It has been increasingly enforced, increasingly encouraged over these last few decades. And what we want you to understand is that this is a deep part of your conditioning. You have been conditioned powerfully into being more separate than is healthy for you. And this is one of the reasons that you see many mental and emotional health problems arising in your society, because the family groups have become so small, even single parent families, which cannot cope with the incredible expense of living in the modern Western world. These environments have become less and less natural, more and more neurotic, more and more stressful. So many of you were raised in very stressful, very unnatural family groups, but it was normal to you. So what we want to bring to your attention here is this idea of the natural human. This is something that we are going to be encouraging you to get back to slowly but surely as you go through these coming months. What does this mean? It means that you are going to be spending more time in nature. Even though there are going to be limitations on your ability to do so, if you have, let us say, 1 hour a day where you are allowed to go out of your house, let's say to go grocery shopping, do your very, very best to take the long way home and go to a park, go to a green space, go and sit by a pond. Risk being chastised for your mental and emotional and spiritual health. Do not overly comply if it is not absolutely necessary. It is very, very important right now that you get outside as much as possible. It is very, very important right now that you have at least some time in nature if you can. If there are not strict restrictions on you right now, if, for example, you're allowed to go into the woods or the parks as much as possible, go out as much as possible. We understand it's winter in the Northern Hemisphere. That doesn't matter. These light codes that are coming from the galactic central sun are important, and they are meant for you. They are upgrading your nervous system. They are upgrading your perceptual system. If you are never outside, if you are never seeing natural light, you are going to be slower and more handicapped than you should be. So if you envision a natural human being living in an indigenous culture, they would be spending a great deal of time outside, hunting, fishing, gathering, these kinds of things. Yes, winter is difficult for everybody in the Northern Hemisphere, in the Southern Hemisphere too, when it comes, for that matter. But we want you to understand that to be a healthy human, you must have sunlight. Even if it's weak winter sunlight, you need that natural light going through your eyes into the center of your consciousness. Very, very important right now. So your conditioning programs, that's the subject that we're speaking about today. Your conditioning programs say, don't go out when it's cold, don't go out when it's too windy, don't go out when it's raining, keep your hair looking nice, winter's horrible, stay inside. These are conditioning programs to prevent you from staying as a natural human. You can see, as you are experiencing these last few months, that there is an increasing pressure to keep you alone, out of nature, inside, away from each other. It is very, very important that to the best of your ability, in whatever way you can over these coming months, that you give yourself as much light, company, fresh air, freedom as you can. We want you to understand that your conditioning will want you not to do that. You have been conditioned into complying. You have been conditioned into staying inside. You have been conditioned into judging bad weather as unacceptable. These are all part of your conditioning programs, and so they are going to be difficult for you to challenge. But we say challenge them. Walk around the block, even if the weather's terrible. Take your rain hood down and look up at the sky, even if it's raining. Get that light into your consciousness. Hug those who will let you hug them. Communicate with those who you can communicate with. These are important aspects of your basic human health, and that is exactly why they have been tampered with. They have been tampered with because when you are healthy, strong, clear-minded, and able to observe things in a natural way, it's very easy for you to discern when things are out of order. When you are kept away from your natural self, when you are enclosed in boxes full of electrical wires, that's what your apartment is, your thinking, your emotions, everything becomes less accurate, and you become more easily influenced because the only information you're getting is coming through your computer, your phone, or your television. You must understand that there is information in light, there is health in fresh air, there is freedom in freedom. The more free you think and act, the more free you will become. So as you take that hour or two, whatever you can wangle within the system in which you find yourself, when you are out and about, say to yourself over and over and over again, I am free. I can do whatever I like. I can think whatever I like. I can feel whatever I like. I am a free, natural human. This is your mantra for today. I am a free, natural human. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again tomorrow. All right. Thank you for joining me today. I guess I'm seeing you tomorrow. Bye.